Now, we're in Chester,
Yeah.
which is Chester, England.
Chester, the county town of Cheshire,
Cheshire.
in England. So it's the county town of Cheshire. Chester is the county town of Cheshire, which is basically the capital of Chester.
Capital of Chester.
But it's the county town.
Train, yes.
And Vic said that he'd seen
Seen
the Beatles
in Chester.
in Chester.
Boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. And here's what he told me.
Oh, that's
told me a
Simon
story.
Simon and Garfunkel.
No,
No.
that's
Kenny
Rogers.
Rogers, that was,
Oh,
yeah.
of course. Yeah,
Kenny Rogers.
I told you that I saw the Beatles on August 14, 1966. So what did you tell me?
I said I saw them in 1962 at the Riverbank
Liverpool Ballroom.
Ballroom.
Where's that?
Down the road here.
About
Down
a
the
mile
road,
from here.
in Chester.
Yes.
So
It's
this
it's a bank now.
they knocked it down and put up a bank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The building is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't do it anymore.
The bank's still there. NatWest Bank.
Yeah.
So this is August of 1962.
We went to see the Beatles. A friend and mine.
You and another buddy.
Yeah, a friend of mine,
Holcroft.
John Holt. Right, and we walked in to where the Beatles were playing. And my friend John went up to the stage, and John Lennon said, "Fuck off." And that's
But
it.
he walked up to the front of the stage.
Oh, I was going to get on. It was mad as after the bump we made. And John Lennon said, "Why don't you?"
Well,
Fuck
to
off.
tell you how it is. I mean, if John Lennon's
He said, "Fuck off." He did, yeah.
Used
He
the words
did, yeah.
that John Lennon said.
Yeah.
Paul was there. George was there. Who was the drummer?
Johnny Hutch.
Who is he? What's his real name?
John Hutchinson.
Yeah. Which is Johnny Hutch.
Yeah, so they shortened it to Johnny Hutch, but it was Johnny Hutchinson.
His name
Yeah.
was John Hutchinson, but his stage name was Johnny Hutch.
Yeah.
And he was the drummer of the that band I said before.
Yeah.
Was it the Crucial Three or the
Big Three.
Big Three?
Big Three
He
it
the
was.
drummer, and he stood in because
Big Three it
in
was.
between Pete Best leaving the Beatles and Ringo Starr joining the Beatles, there was 2 gigs where they had no drummer.
Yeah.
Where Johnny Hutch stood in.
Yeah.
And one was at the Riverbank Ballroom in Chester.
Down the road.
other
Right
one
up
was
the road here.
Right up there.
Down
Over
there.
that
Yeah.
bridge.
Down
Well,
there.
a bit further than that. Yeah.
It's
You're not
probably
far
down
off.
there. And
Yeah.
the other gig we played was the New Brighton, in New Brighton. Anyway.
Yeah.
So there was 2 gigs that Johnny Hutch stood in.
Yeah.
The star had to run to the dressing room because he wanted to get a little bit more makeup, which is okay, because under his position here in this production, he needs to be at his best. But he'll be back in a few seconds. Actually, the real reason is he had a couple pints, huh? Yeah, and it's going through him now, and he really couldn't wait to get this done, so he had to go. But he will be back. This is his buddy Geoff. Geoff also lives here in Chester, and they were in Liverpool, and they came back with me on the train. And they began to tell me their story about the Beatles in 1962. That was the year that Geoff was born.
Yeah.
Vic was at the concert with another buddy, and he walked into the concert during the set, and the Beatles were playing. And while they were playing, John Lennon saw his buddy approach the front of the stage, and he said to him, "F off." He wanted him to take a walk. John was born in 1940, so he was 22 years old at the time. So John should have been past graduation, housebroken, and able to control himself, but he wasn't. But then again, that's what happens when you get to be a Beatle. This was before they were famous, and this is before Ringo became a drummer.
It was there was 2 gigs between Pete Best leaving and Ringo Starr joining. The 2 gigs were Riverbank Ballroom, which is basically straight down that road there.
Can you see the bank from here?
No, you'd have to go down the road there.
Yeah.
And then it's
To the right?
It's easy, it's easy enough to find.
Yeah.
But it's straight down there, and it's on. This is City Road. It's on Grown Apart Road, and it's a bank now. New Brighton, which is on the Whittle, in Wallasey. So it's only down the road.
So New Brighton, we came through there, didn't we?
No, we didn't. No.
We didn't go through there?
No. But it's on the Whittle. So prior to sacking Pete Best and getting Ringo Starr, there was 2 gigs that Ringo Starr couldn't make because he was still with Roy Stone and the Hurricanes.
You took a walk from the train station here in Chester, and you brought me to this building. Why'd you bring me here?
It used to be a River Park dance floor.
The River Park dance floor was here.
Here.
Not in this building. It was in another building.
Another building.
And what happened to that building?
Well, Chester being Chester, they knocked it down. And then we got this crap. Excuse my
And
language.
now this is deserted.
Yeah.
Where were you on August 16, 1962? You were inside
Certain
the building.
Beatles, yes.
You were inside the building that stood here.
The Beatles, yeah.
You and a buddy came up here.
Yeah.
You walked in and John Lennon and the Beatles, Paul and George, were already playing.
Yeah.
But Johnny Hutch,
Yeah.
Johnny Hutchinson,
Yeah.
he was the drummer.
Yeah. Johnny Hutch was a drummer and a friend of mine. This gone too far. Mr. Holcroft, I knew, a good friend of mine, went up to see the Beatles.
Close up to the stage.
Virtually got on the stage, and he was told politely to fuck off.
By who?
John Lennon.
John Lennon. I know that name.
Yeah. That was his claim to fame, a friend, yeah.
So you only saw them that one time, or you saw them other times?
I used to occasionally down in Liverpool.
You'd go, where at?
The Cavern,
The Cavern?
that area, yeah. I used to go out with a lady from there at the time.
You went out with a lady from there, and you'd go see her, and on your
End
date,
of-
you would
yeah.
take her to see the Beatles.
Beatles.
And when you saw them down there, Ringo was drumming with them.
No, I don't think it was then.
Oh, was that? Oh, this was before they
Yes,
came here.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going
so-
back a bit now. Come
Go-
on,
yeah, we'll go
I'm
back.
70 plus now.
Yeah,
Come
we're
on.
we're going back
Yeah.
60, at least 61 years.
Yeah.
So you're saying when you went to see them, then Pete Best was the drummer.
Yes.
Before they had the Beatle haircut.
Yes.
And they had the hair combed
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was with a young lady at the time, and I wasn't really looking at the boys.
Well, it seems like you had a good evening, and you got to see rock and roll history.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you, and I'm a little bit jealous of you. I wish you'd have called me.
Well, yeah. Well,
I might have shown up.
I don't think them days I had a phone like
Oh,
that now.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't born until '62, but I do know quite a bit
Yeah,
about
he does.
Beatles history.
Because you lived here.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I've
but he's
read
very
loads
big
of
into that, though.
loads
He's
of
big
books about
into
the Beatles,
history.
but this place here, the River Park Ballroom, the Beatles played here 4 times, and it was generally on a Thursday night. And it was before they were famous, because I don't think the first single came out until about October and November '62, and it was August time they played here. But there's another place in town, down City Road,
Yeah.
which we've probably walked past.
Walk past.
They
Yeah.
played. It was called the Royalty Theater,
Theatre then. Yeah.
and that was when they were famous.
Yeah.
They played there once, and it was after they were famous, and they wanted to pull out. But Brian Epstein said,
No.
"You've
You've
booked it.
booked it. You've got to
You've
do
got
it.
to honour the booking."
Yeah.
So they played there. So played Chester 5 times, 4 times here, in River Park, and also once at the
Royalty.
Theatre.
Yeah.
So when they were famous, that had to be after they came to America in 60.
Yeah, 64 they came to America. They played here 4 times in August '62.
Yeah.
And they played once at the Royalty. So they played in Chester 5 times, and then they went to America in, I think it's
February of
February
64.
February '64. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sullivan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I used to go to Cavern quite regularly with a certain young lady. I won't mention names because she's probably married somebody else now.
You do remember going there? You do remember seeing?
Oh, I
the
do,
Beatles?
yeah.
So-
I remember Sylvie taking the hat and coach.
Oh,
Who?
she's
Cilla
she's
Black.
swooped behind the, what's her name? She's swooped behind the,
Cilla
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah.
the counter, taking the cloakroom.
Cloakroom.
She was the coat girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
cloakroom, yeah.
With your hand resting in mine, I feel a power so divine. You're my wood, you are my night and day. You're my wood, your every breath. I pray for love. Be that to me.
My sister used
that's
to
nice.
sing for the Vernon Girls. Them days was a singing group that's on TV. And my sister hated it with a passion because my sister could sing and Cilla Black couldn't. And she hated it with a passion.
Really?
Yeah. My sister was one of the Vernon Girls. Well, you'd have to look that
So
up.
like a female singing group.
Singing group.
The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. Don't you say you love me, I'd make you so proud. Will you make that journey? Every place we go, show be my little baby, my one and only. Say you'll be my darling, be my baby, no.
I don't know if you've got something similar in America, but yeah, the old football pools. There was like Vernon's
and
there
that,
was
yeah.
Littlewoods.
Well,
and
my
there
sister,
was Zetas.
they
But they
said,
had a singing group, didn't they?
yeah, and they said you have to work for Vernon's pools. Well, my sister walked through the door where that girls is, walked out. Yeah, you've been to Vernon's girls now because you walked in that door. She got away. Well, she was like that, my sister, anyway. Very lucky.
But, yeah.
That was enough to get her to be a Vernon girl.
Well, they wanted her.
Nice to see you.
It's lovely to see you, and we've had a nice,
Yeah,
bloody,
been great.
an
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant day with you.
Well, I'm shocked at how well this day turned out.
Yeah, it's good.
I can't believe it. I'm in Hume Hall, which is in Port Sunlight. It's a small city south of Liverpool. It was built by the Lever brothers, the people that make soap. And this whole town was devoted to making soap products. This hall was built in the early 1900s. It was for the female employees of Lever brothers. On August 18, 1962, the Beatles made their first performance here with Ringo Starr as their drummer, as an official Beatle. This was just 2 days after they appeared in Chester, which is where I just came from. John, Cynthia Powell, they were going to have a baby. And the baby was going to be named Julian, after John's mother, Julia, who died in a tragic accident in Liverpool. But this is the inside of the building. I'll show you the outside. The whole town, small town, absolutely beautiful. The architecture, the brickwork, and it was made by Lever brothers to conform to the surrounding area. This hall opened in 1901, but you can see the structure. It looks very much like the ceiling is curved, like a Quonset hut ceiling, the roof of a Quonset hut. In the Uline Arena in Washington in 1964, they're going to appear for their first U.S. concert in an arena, which is very much like this, only much, much bigger. I have to tell you that they're having a Hindu ceremony here, which is going to begin in a little while, and they're setting up for that. They allowed me to come in. They were so gracious, they even offered to feed me. They were so nice. But I'm not going to stop to eat. I got to get back on the trail to go into Liverpool now. So let's go outside, look at the surrounding area, and then get back on the train to Liverpool. Port Sunlight, a small community south of Liverpool. The Beatles performed here on August 18th, 1962 for the first time with Ringo as an official member of the group. Ringo Starr sat in with them on a couple of occasions prior to being asked to join. For the past 2 weeks, he was doing absolutely nothing, waiting to join the Beatles. So they rehearsed that afternoon. It was a big concert. Ringo was able to rehearse for about 2 hours and took the stage with the Beatles The stage was set up at that end, so they entered through that side, just like any other concert. But it was the Beatles. It was the beginning of rock and roll history as the Fab
Well,
Four.
then he
that
just
we
said,
know.
Pete, I got bad news for you. Don't really know how to turn around and tell you. The boys want you out, and it's already been arranged that Ringo would join the band on Saturday. That was the boys.
Some of the guy now, I'm taking my love away from me now. Some of the guy now, I'm taking my way now, because I don't know. Some of the guy now, I just don't want to hold my head.
For a brief period in summer 1962, the former Cavern idols found themselves the villains of the piece in the eyes of the devotees of their former drummer.
It's crowding up, so I'm going to leave.